you're usually going to need, so it's really not a big learning curve there. First thing you're going to need is a contingency form, and that form just lays out our fee agreement with the claimant, and it authorizes us to make the claim for them on their behalf. And it does not disclose where the funds are coming from. It might show the amount, but it doesn't show where the funds are coming from, and that'll be important in a minute. Next, we get the limited power of attorney, and that's pretty much a standard form that you can download from the internet for any state for a few bucks, $7 or $8. And it gives us the official authorization to act on the claimant's behalf, and a lot of times that will disclose the source of the funds. And finally, we like to usually have the claimant fill out the county claim form for the funds, and the county is going to provide that to us. And it will definitely state the source of the funds. So sometimes we can fill that form out ourselves using the power of attorney that we just got. Now, it's really important that you have the paperwork set up properly so you don't miss out on any claims because of what I call a technical foul. Make sure you see an attorney and make sure you get these things done right, or use the exact same forms that we've developed and avoid this issue. Now, we're really getting to the finish line here. How do we sign these claimants up? I mean, after all, if we leave the house, we're doing it wrong, right? So once the claimant indicates that they want to work with us, we don't go out to visit them, even if they live right by us. What we're going to do is we're going to use a mobile notary who lives near the claimant and email her the paperwork. Now, there's several online directories that are going to show you where to find a local mobile notary right by the claimant, no matter where they are. And the ones we like to use most often are 123notary.com and notaryrotary.com. You might want to make a note of those. Now, the notary is going to print out that paperwork, and they're going to run it out to the claimant, have them sign it, they'll notarize it, and then they'll return it to you all nice and ready to go, notarized, all that kind of stuff. Now, this is part of the fifth and final secret, and this is really important. Use a mobile notary and stage the paperwork. And what I mean by stage the paperwork is that we have the claimant sign our contingency form where they agree to our finder fee and they see the amount of the claim, but they don't learn the source of the claim. Now, once that's signed and put away, the notary then pulls out the other paperwork like the claim form and the power of attorney, and those usually do show the source of the funds. Now, this way, the claimant's tied into working with us before they learn the source of the funds, and they can't take our information and go behind our back like that claimant did to Jim when he first got started. You know, once a claimant learns the source of the funds, we're not much value to them anymore, and you probably want to write that down too. It's important to stage the paperwork so we establish our fee before revealing the source of the funds to the claimant. Okay? And from there, it's just a matter of submitting the paperwork to the county and awaiting the check. We're going to deposit the check, and we're going to disperse the funds. And so everything's always within our control. The check is not sent to the claimant. It's sent to us. So we're almost up with our hour here. I want to show you a complete deal from start to finish. Now, this is one that I did a couple years back. I think it was the second or third year that I made my rounds through Indiana. And I went and picked up records in Indianapolis. So here's what I started off with, and I can see why this is going to take a minute to soak in, but I'll show you what everything indicates on the form. Really the important thing, it shows the overbid amount right here, $8,001.51, and I hope you can read that on your screen. Okay, and I think that year I worked on everything that was above $5,000, and up here blurred out was the former property owner's last known address, so I had that to work with. Okay, so $3,200 or so isn't bad to make on a claim like this, and I think I even negotiated 50% for this one since there were a couple different people that needed to sign off on it. Okay, so I contacted one claimant by finding her on the internet, and it turned out that she'd owned the property that was lost at that tax sale together with her husband. So they were divorced, but luckily they still kept in contact. So I got his number from her. He agreed as well, and I even agreed to take their share of funds and pay to them separately so they didn't have to meet up with each other to split up one check. And that's the nice thing about being in control of these funds. You can pay them out as you agree with the claimant, and there's no chance that they're going to take the money and cut you out of the deal. All right, so they signed our paperwork. This was the contingency form I was using at the time, and it's pretty simple. It just states that we found funds in a certain amount, and it specifies what our finder fee will be. And we also got a power of attorney, which is a relatively simple document to prepare and a copy of their driver's licenses. I also got a copy of the claim form from Marion County. As you can see, they have their own claim form. This might not have been the exact one I used on this deal, but it's a standard form. And most counties have a specialized form that they'll just give you if you ask. All right? So I sent in all the paperwork, and shortly thereafter, the check arrived. And here's the stub. And as you can see, it's kind of cool. I made 2 other claims during that county's payment cycle, so they just stuck them all into one check. And I think we made over $15,000 from the claims we got paid on with that one check. So at the top in red, you can see that amount I showed you from the beginning, $8,001.51. There it is right there. And it's right there on the stub. I think I cashed that check before I remembered to make a copy. So that is how it's done, guys. Now, here's what I absolutely love about this business. We can make profits fast in a real estate-related field without having to be involved with properties at all, and yet we can still get those real estate-sized paydays. Now, we all know properties can make huge profits for us, but as you probably also know, there can be a lot of downsides. You have to maintain them, pay taxes, maybe even mortgage payments, unexpected problems like vandalism, trash outs, and a lot of real estate strategies require you to invest a lot of money to get involved or make commitments to sellers or put your credit on the line, and that saddles you with a lot of risk in some cases. So you can never predict for sure when the right buyer is going to come to cash you out. It's all just so uncertain today. So that's something else to write down. This found money business, as I've taught you tonight, is a real estate-related business with all those high-dollar paydays that go along with the real estate business, but it doesn't have any of the hassles or uncertainty that are present in a lot of real estate deals. And new found money claims are created almost every day. Now, you can work this business anywhere in the country. It doesn't matter where you live. You don't have to live in one of the states where it's really good to do the business or where they have overages. Geography makes no difference. As I said before, we've trained people from Australia, New Zealand, and France who are about to process claims now, or I'm even going to show you a deal that one of them did in a second from France. A student in Australia also got a claim sent out so fast she didn't even have a chance to get a P.O. box set up here, and I received that one for her. All right, it's a completely work-at-home business. Everything's done by fax, email, phone, and mail. All right, we do our public records requests, we do our claim and contact, our claims processing, we do all that from home. We never leave if we don't want to. You can receive your first check literally within weeks of starting. And you know what? Do you think about it? You're giving money to your clients. You're not trying to take it away. You saw earlier, students often receive their first checks while they're still in the training. And the clients are so much happier to hear from us when we're trying to give them money that they didn't know they had, instead of helping them with an ugly real estate problem or trying to collect money from them. Okay? The funds are sitting there ready to collect, and nothing really has to go your way, like a buyer doesn't have to come along or something. None of that has to happen before you can make the claim, other than getting the claimant to agree. And if you don't get those funds soon enough, the government could take them permanently. So there's a sense of urgency there. Okay, you don't need any capital investment to speak of to get going. Okay, it's nice to have a little bit of money to send letters or pay for public records requests, little stuff like that. But we've even gotten public records requests for free by email and located claimants on free sites. One of these checks I'm about to show you, a student got, and his expenses were 88 cents. So I assume that was for 2 stamps. And possibly, best of all, there are billions of funds that are available right now at more than 3,000 counties. Now, I've shown you how a couple people we trained, Jay and Maggie, have gotten started in this business almost right away and have already made a bunch of money. And I've also been really pleased at how many of the other students we've had have done. And some of them have sent in really nice checks that they've received just in the last couple months. Now, before I show you those, I got to tell you that I have no idea what the typical or average student makes in this training. That's really each student's business, and it's up to them if they share some of their successes with us. So because of that, I'm just kind of forced to go on the safe side and say the average student doesn't act on the information and therefore makes nothing. But I don't want you to be an average real estate training student, whatever that is. I want you to act on the information we'll give you and start getting checks like this right away. All right, here's one that came from that student I was talking about in France. Okay, he's actually managing to make the claims all the way from there, and he's working with another trainee that's in our course, sort of partnering on some of his deals. So that was a good one. Here's a copy of another one that another student got, and this one was huge. It's almost $25,000. Handwritten. How about that? I mean, you think county pays out a lot of claims each year in that county? There's probably a lot more to work there. It looks like they've only sent out 33 claims in their whole history based on that check number there.